G'day folks. Well, over the years we have filmed hundreds of incredibly talented people across the world. Many of these artists have gone on to produce their own videos as well. We hope you enjoy this great lesson from one of our Colour in Your Life artists.
Okay, so where we're up to now, we've done the blocking of the sky, the water and the sand. I haven't blocked in the foam yet, and I don't usually do that until a little bit later on. I'm going to focus on the distant water a little bit more now, okay? We've put in some really gentle, subtle reflections of the sky colour on top of the peaks in the water. I just want to highlight that a little bit more and then just do a few more troughs and have just a few more, not waves as such like this, but darker waves, okay, to get a little bit more depth happening. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. After that, we'll move down. I will develop some more reflections in this front section and between the waves, and then I'll move on to developing the waves, and lastly this bit down here. Okay, so I've mixed up some Payne's Grey, a little bit of phthalo blue, and just a drop of white, okay? So they're the colours I'll be using for the sky reflections in this round. I'm using a flat size 6 brush. They're actually really, really good. The only time I use the round brushes in painting a seascape or sand is usually when I come down to the bottom when I'm doing the foam in the foreshore. Otherwise, it's always a flat brush. Anywhere between size 2 and 10 for me, but this is a 6, so here we go. What we need to do now is focus on these waves just a tad more, okay? We need to, actually a lot more because I've hardly done them. They're still in the blocking phase, so they've only had the one layer on. I've done a few little foam trails that have gone up into the wave, for example down here, like kind of up into the wave. Again, that was just using the same colours as what we did down here for the reflections that are in the sky. Added a little bit more of the phthalo blue and the grey, just to make it look like it's in shadow, because foam trails are obviously in shadow. As they get to the tip of the wave, then they become a bit lighter, and then obviously curling in and coming down darker, and then back into the sun again a bit lighter, okay? What we're going to get started on now is I just use a tiny little round brush. Yeah, just a normal, sorry I don't have one here at the moment. Yes I do, this brush. Just a tiny little round frayed brush again, okay? I'm just going to start off with putting some shadow in under where the wave is breaking first. For that I have a different colour palette depending on what I'm doing, okay? When I'm doing a stormy, moody scene like this, for the shadow, I actually tend to just use the shadow from the dark part of the water and the sky for the shadows. I am a little bit anti adding so much purple. I think some people do, and there's a time and place I do purplish it a little bit on occasion, okay? But for this kind of scene, I don't add any purple at all, so it's just like a dark bluey grey kind of colour. I'll add that in a little bit first, okay? And then when that's wet, again, just with the same brush, I just use paper towel to wipe it off. I don't wet it, I don't clean it fully, okay? Because I want to create a mid-tone, so I dip it in the white, pop it over that shadow colour, mute it a little bit, so the colour does mix, creating that mid-tone, and then I clean the brush and come back with titanium white, just for the highlights on the top, okay? So we're going to do that. Also just add a few more foam trails, get the wave looking a little bit more spiff, so I will see you soon. This is what happens, this is reality, okay? Can you see this? I just broke my brush, okay? Now that is actually really devastating because I love this brush, it is such a good one. So I'm actually going to continue using it. So I do have to hold it at the tip here, even though I usually recommend not to. Gosh. Sometimes you actually don't need anything fancy to paint, okay? I'm really not into spending a huge amount of money on fancy equipment, okay? There's a time and place to spend lots of money and I'll spend some money on really nice brushes, especially for the reflections. Water reflections need really good brushes, okay? So I'll go through that with you soon. But for things like this, oh my gosh. It is the old, that is amazing. The tops of the wave here actually are still going to be reflecting a little bit of sky colour, even though it's a gloomy day. I think we've decided that and established that by the looks of it. But there's still going to be a little bit of light there, okay? And I don't want all that to be foam. So I'm just going back over it with a little bit of that sky colour at the top, just here. And that just gives it the appearance That just gives it the appearance of the water rolling a little bit, not just the foam.